We all use the highway one way or another, either as passengers or as drivers. Most times it's a mundane experience, but other times we experience things so bizarre and shocking that we might struggle to believe them. In this video, we look at the most bizarre incidents on highways, from grizzly bears on bikes to lightning strikes out of the blue. Want to know more? Let's get right in. Before we begin, remember to click the like button and subscribe to the channel. Number 1. An unexpected car flip. First, if you think checking your tires isn't a big deal, you might want to rethink that after seeing this clip. A Kia Soul was cruising down the Chatsworth, Los Angeles highway, minding its own business, and beside it was a Ford truck, casually rolling along. Sounds fine, right? But unfortunately for the owner of the Kia, the white truck had a loose tire that popped loose at the most inopportune moment. Suddenly, the left front tire of the truck veered across the lane, right under the black Kia Soul, and launched it into the air like a rocket. The Kia took a tumble, flipping over, and that rogue tire wasn't done yet. It smashed into the Kia once more, just for good measure. Incredibly, the driver of the Kia Soul came out of this crazy ordeal with only a few bumps and bruises. Number 2. A snowy car pile. Speaking of maintaining your tires, navigating through snow while driving can be extremely treacherous. The wrong tires can lead to loss of grip on slippery roads, causing accidents. Even cars with good tires can crash on icy surfaces. And surely, no one wants to be near a truck skidding uncontrollably on ice. In December 2022, a massive vehicle pileup occurred due to heavy snow in London, Ontario, Canada. This clip shows a driver encountering the pileup on a highway, with more vehicles still approaching. Unfortunately, in this situation, the pileup didn't just involve cars, but also trucks. And stopping a moving truck isn't easy. Hopefully, no one got injured. Number 3, a message from Thor. Statistically, the chances of being struck by lightning in a year are less than 1 in a million. However, an extraordinary event unfolded in June 2021 on a Kansas highway, defying the odds. A family was driving when the car ahead was hit by lightning, an incredibly rare occurrence. The family inside escaped unharmed, thankfully, and continued their journey. One can only imagine the fear they must have experienced. Surprisingly, most lightning strike survivors recover, with over 90% avoiding fatal outcomes. The true shock lies in the rarity of the event itself. Enjoying the video so far? Stay tuned to find out what a grizzly bear did on the highway. Number 4, the leap of faith. There's an undeniable thrill in sticking your head out of a moving car's window, the rush of wind against your face, all that great view, and a palpable sense of freedom. This great feeling can be infectious, and for one particular dog, it proved irresistible. In a video, a dog with its head out of a car window suddenly seizes the opportunity for an audacious escape. It's unclear if the dog had meticulously planned its escape, or if a tempting bone caught its attention. Regardless, it took a bold leap, launching itself into the unknown. One can only hope that the owner successfully located their adventurous pug afterward. Number 5, bear with me. Russia is no stranger to odd highway occurrences, but one of these stands above the rest. Back in September 2017, Russians witnessed an astonishing spectacle: a grizzly bear joining a motorcycle excursion. The unexpected appearance left onlookers in disbelief. The bear's origin and reasons for its position as a motorcycle passenger remain unclear, yet the furry adventurer seemed to relish the experience, soaking in the urban sights and sounds. At one point, it even lent a helping paw to the rider, alerting fellow motorists or perhaps harboring an urge to play the trumpet. Who's to say? While people keep dogs and cats as pets, this man's choice of a grizzly bear companion seems just as valid. As long as the bear behaves, there's very little reason to object. Number 6, right place, right time. Sometimes in life, through no effort of your own, you find yourself in the right place and at the right time. And if this isn't one of those, then we absolutely don't know what is. This particular incident took place on a highway in Brazil in August of 2019. A vehicle was trying to make a turn on the road, but the engine of the car was totaled and immediately caught fire. When your vehicle catches on fire, the next logical step would probably be to get out and call 911. But luckily, these guys were at the right place. literally beside a fire truck, so all they had to do was get away from the vehicle while the firefighters took action, averting a major road crisis. Number 7. Not too smart to swim. The city of Amsterdam in the Netherlands is known for its intricate canal system. And with so many bodies of water around the city center itself, it's easy to accidentally fall in sometimes. This clip, which was taken in 2019, shows a moment when a smart car got taken for an unexpected swim after being knocked into the water by a Porsche. Investigations later showed that the Porsche had actually been stolen, and the driver was trying to make a quick getaway when he carelessly pulled into the corner and hit the poor smart car, sending it into the water. To make matters worse, the Porsche's driver didn't even care about what he had done. He simply adjusted his position and then went on his way. However, this video appears to be part of an elaborate and choreographed stunt sequence for the movie, The Hitman's Bodyguard. It's also convincing that it even had us fooled. If ever in Amsterdam, though, never park too close to a canal, or this fiction might just become your reality. Coming up later in this video, we'll see a moving house, as well as military tanks and a train on the road. Truly bizarre. Number 8. A rocky situation. If you've ever driven by the side of a rocky mountain, then you probably know how treacherous the terrain can get and how dangerous a rock slide might be. In this clip, that's pretty much what happened. The video, taken back in October of 2021, shows a moment when a boulder suddenly got bored of its initial resting position at the side of a mountain and then decided to roll on down in the middle of a nearby road. Luckily, no one was injured in the incident since the road was empty when the rock slide took place. However, it must have caused a significant traffic jam. Just think about the poor guys who would have had to clear the highway the next day to make sure it was motorable. Number 9. Guess who's moving house? When a friend tells you they're moving houses, you usually assume they're relocating to a new place, not literally moving the house. Most of us, when the time comes to move, would simply pack our items and leave the home for the next person. But a few people would rather take their entire home with them wherever they go. Take this clip, for instance. Imagine the neighbors telling their friends and family that they have just seen a truck carrying an entire house down the road. The thing looks like one that could comfortably house a family of 10. We have no idea how they managed to pull this one off, but they certainly have my respect. Number 10. The San Diego Veterans Road Rampage. On an eventful day in 1995, residents of a local town in San Diego were unexpectedly terrorized by a U.S. Army veteran. The Army vet, whose name was Sean Nelson, had apparently stolen an armored tank and then decided to barrel through the streets. He held residents of the city hostage for around 23 minutes, breaking through different buildings and structures in what could only be described as a full-on rampage. You may be wondering what on earth might have led this guy to do this. According to some reports, Nelson had been through quite a lot in his life. After serving in the military, he was then honorably discharged and went back home to San Diego, where he settled down, had a family, and started a business. Sadly, though, things soon began to unravel for Nelson. His parents passed away and he soon fell into drug abuse whilst his business teetered on the brink of failure. When his wife finally divorced him, that's when he snapped. He stole a tank from the army base and began rampaging around town. Fortunately, Nelson was eventually apprehended and taken in, ending his epic rampage. Number 11. The Unseen Accident. This clip can only be described as spooky in every sense of the word. It actually starts out just fine. There's a regular old traffic jam, and cars are just moving along the highway slowly, when suddenly a vehicle makes a stop. It's as if it was hit by an invisible force. There doesn't seem to be anything on the road, so how on earth did the vehicle get that massive dent on the body? Was it a ghost? Was it retribution for something horrible the driver did in his past life? Well, the answer is rather mundane. According to some reports, there were actually some wires lying pretty low on the ground. The unfortunate vehicle happened to crash into them. Thankfully, while the car was badly damaged, the driver was lucky and only sustained a few injuries. Number 12. Peekaboo Parrot. Highways, being public utilities, are not used by humans alone. Even animals can goof around with these facilities. Back in October 2021, a video went viral showing the moment that a parrot decided to land on a CCTV camera and play a little game of peekaboo. According to reports, the Amazon parrot was captured peering into a traffic camera on a highway somewhere in Brazil. The highway was operated by a private road management company, which saw the parrot's playful antics and decided to share them on social media. Because of this, the parrot became famous. Number 13. An unwitting road intruder. As children, we all were taught the basics of crossing the road. You look left and then right and then left and then right again before crossing the street. This little girl must have skipped out on a couple of lessons, or perhaps she just wasn't paying enough attention. Dash camera footage showed a crazy moment where the little girl was almost crushed by a car driving across a narrow road. The driver had been moving along maintaining a steady pace when all of a sudden, out came this little lady who was completely unaware that someone was about to hit her. Fortunately for her, the driver was quick enough to stop the car before any kind of collision happened. Soon after, an adult who may have been her father or relative was able to take her away to safety. Number 14. The highway train. When you think about roads, you probably immediately think of cars, motorcycles, or lorries. Nobody expects a train to end up on the main road. But if there's anything that we've learned in life, it's that sometimes reality is weirdest than fiction. In April 2018, this clip would go viral after it showed the moment that a train literally crossed into a 7-lane highway in Azerbaijan. Just take a moment to think about how utterly outlandish this is. This train, without any warning or clear indication, suddenly breaks free into an actual highway and crosses it. But it's not just any old highway from the looks of it. The road appears to be a major one. All of the cars literally had to come to a halt just to allow the train to pass through. It looks like someone may have got their GPS mixed up and got carried away in their own train of thoughts. Up next, we'll take a look at how drivers deal with protesters they encounter on the road, a plane landing on the highway, and a bizarre 3-wheel drive. But before that, do not forget to click that like button and make sure to subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. Number 15. Road activism. We live in a world with a lot of social issues all around us, and to be fair, many of these demand immediate and decisive attention. However, while there's absolutely nothing wrong with protesting and making your voices heard, there's a time and a place for everything, and that place is most definitely not on a busy highway. In June 2022, a group of animal rights activists decided to take to the streets of Rome in order to protest, and their idea was to literally shut down the road and block all oncoming traffic. While the protest effort was a noble one, they went about things in the wrong way. After a while, the drivers had enough and got out of their cars to drag the activists away. You really have to admire the perseverance of everyone standing up for a cause that they believe in, despite the outrage that they may be causing to others. But if you're trying to rally people around to support your cause, then irritating them is certainly not the way to win them over. Number 16. Thrills on 3 wheels. If you're a vehicle owner and you find your tires are faulty, conventional wisdom would be to stop and try and get that problem fixed. But this guy didn't really care about conventional wisdom or common sense for that matter. This clip shows an insane moment where a truck driver decided to put his vehicle on the road, despite being aware that it was actually missing one of its wheels. You can see the sparks coming off his vehicle. It's definitely illegal and very risky. But despite the risks of harm to himself and others, the driver continued down the road like it was nobody's business, causing a nuisance to everyone nearby. Number 17. The flying car. Imagine you're driving along a road when a car literally flies onto the highway almost out of nowhere. You can see that happening in this exact video, which was taken back in California in August 2022. It captures an insane moment where a car was seen flying over a highway overpass and onto the other side of the road. It's like something you would see in a science fiction film. The vehicle suddenly flies out of the air and goes between power lines, landing bumper first onto the road. According to reports, the vehicle had been involved in a hit and run on the adjacent highway, and the driver, a 26-year-old woman, lost control of the car and literally rammed through the overpass and onto the highway. Miraculously, the driver was found still conscious as people ran to her aid. They were able to get her to the hospital, where she made a full recovery. The car didn't fare as well, though. Number 18. Emergency highway landing. Next, we have this truly remarkable piece of genius. Imagine having to use the highway as a runway. Florida-based pilot Vincent Frazier was on his way back from the Appalachian Mountains of North Carolina with his father-in-law when his plane developed an engine fault. With nowhere else to land, Vincent decided to put it down on the 4-lane highway in North Carolina. He later explained to news reporters that he had noticed the engine's power being too low and that his plane's propellers were no longer working. After restarting the engines and failing 3 times, he knew he had to somehow land the plane. The former Marine Corps aviation technician and flight attendant was able to stick the landing perfectly, without hitting a single vehicle on the road. 3 days later, his plane was repaired for free at a local shop, and he was soon able to take to the skies once again. Number 19. Crazy police chase. Police officers are tasked with keeping everyone safe, and they do a lot to protect property and community. In many situations when they find a criminal, they go to great lengths to pursue that criminal. On a fateful day in June 2022, 2 police officers had tracked down a man whom they suspected of having stolen a vehicle. The man obviously had no plans to relinquish his freedom and decided to make a run for it, which resulted in quite the foot chase. But here's the thing. This happened in Texas, a state that's notorious for being really hot. As the body cam footage showed, these cops were rather out of shape, and they were wearing gear weighing over 20 pounds too. After a while, they just got tired. Fortunately for them, they were able to get help from an unexpected source, a nearby civilian who saw their plight. The civilian saw the chase happening and offered a ride just at the right time. The officer told the driver where to go, and he caught up with the fellow cop. Together, they were able to get to the suspect and put them in handcuffs. Sometimes help really does come in the most unexpected of ways. Number 20. Runaway Tires. Lastly, we have a case of runaway tires. If you're a truck driver, you should always have your truck checked before you hit the road. If you don't, you may end up in this same situation as this clip taken back in 2019. A truck in Ridgeland, Mississippi suddenly had its tires pop off while in transit. Now, for some reason, be it loose bolts or something else, these tires decided that they had had enough of doing their job. So off they went. The tires continued to roll, going as far as entering the opposing lane and smashing into a car. Fortunately, no one was hurt, although the 2 vehicles were damaged beyond repair. There are so many crazy and unusual things that happen on the highway, and it does make you wonder what you would do if you were in some of these bizarre situations. Have you ever witnessed anything similar to the situations in the video? Or perhaps you've seen crazier things happen on the highway? Do share your unforgettable highway experience in the comment section down below. And make sure to subscribe and click the notification button to watch more videos like this. Goodbye.